Welcome back to the Market Watchdog, the show where we separate economic facts from idealistic nonsense. Today we're tackling this so-called Shut Down the Solstice event, where workers and consumers plan to stop everything for a week starting June 21st, 2025. They claim it'll show the power of the people. Personally, I think it's a naive, self-destructive stunt. But here to debate the issue are Dr. James Porter, a professor of economics who thinks this is a moment of reckoning for capitalism, and Dr. Ellen Graves, a financial analyst who believes this movement could do more harm than good. Let's start with you, Dr. Porter. Why are you supporting this?
Thank you, and I'm glad to be here. First off, I think dismissing this as naive misses the bigger picture. Shut Down the Solstice is about recalibrating an economic system that's become exploitative. Workers' productivity has soared over the past few decades, but wages haven't kept up. This demonstration forces us to ask a fundamental question: what happens when the people who truly power the economy stop?
Well, that's a nice academic take, but let's be real. Most of these participants are young people, millennials and Gen Z, who want everything handed to them. They have no idea how the real world works. Dr. Graves, am I wrong?
Not entirely. Look, I understand the frustration driving this, but the logistics don't add up. A global stoppage could wreak havoc on supply chains, small businesses, and families living paycheck to paycheck. The reality is, the people who would suffer the most aren't the billionaires or CEOs. It's everyday workers and small business owners.
But Ellen, you're ignoring the systemic problem. Workers are already suffering. The wealth gap is staggering and people are drowning in debt while the top 1% hoards resources. This isn't about entitlement, it's about fairness. If people stop buying, working, and fueling the system, they're showing just how precarious the economy really is.
Fairness? Come on. You know who's going to be affected the most? People like me who spent decades building businesses, creating jobs, and paying taxes. These kids don't want to put in the work. They just want to tear it all down. If Gen Z wasn't the most unmotivated, clueless bunch of phone zombies ever, I might be worried. One thing that we can count on from them is inaction. They won't do anything.
Respectfully, that's exactly the kind of dismissive attitude fueling this movement. Younger generations working hard, often juggling multiple jobs just to get by. They're not asking for a handout, they're demanding a fair shot.
James, I agree the system has flaws, but destabilizing the economy isn't the way to fix it. What's the plan after this 7-day event? Are people prepared to face the consequences? What about those who can't afford to stop working?
That's why mutual aid networks are being set up in many communities to help those most vulnerable. This isn't about crashing the economy, it's about creating a ripple that forces those in power to take notice.
Ripple? More like a temper tantrum. The economy is a delicate machine, and you can't just pull the plug without consequences. Millennials and Gen Z want to play revolutionaries, but they'll come crawling back when the bills are due.
I think the focus should be on reforming the system through policy. Better wages, stronger unions, improved regulation, not this high-risk gamble.
Policy change only happens when people demand it. Movements like this create the pressure needed for reform. If nothing else, this event forces a conversation that's long overdue.
Well, I guess we'll see if this so-called revolution sparks change or just burns itself out. For now, we'll leave it there. Thanks to both of you for joining us, even if one of you is a bit more grounded in reality.
And thank you for proving why this movement matters.
Always a pleasure.